Hi guys, welcome back to the Art of Server. So in today's video, we're going to do an unboxing and review of this thing right here. This is the ICY DOCK MB411SPO-1B. And this is basically a slim optical drive adapter that allows you to turn that optical drive bay into a 2.5-inch SATA hot swappable drive bay. So for the interest of full disclosure, I did receive this product from ICY DOCK for free, and I get to keep this product after the review, but no money has exchanged hands, and ICY DOCK does not get to preview this video before I release it, and there are no stipulations as to what I can or cannot say about their product or brand. All right, before we get into it, do me a favor and smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm so more people can benefit from this video. You guys really did an awesome job on that last video, and you got the algorithm to really push that video out there. So if you guys can keep it up and do the same for this video, I would really appreciate it. Also, if you're new to this channel and you run a home server, you'll want to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss one of my videos. All right, let's get back to the unboxing. So I've mentioned ICY DOCK in several of my previous videos. ICY DOCK is one of the premium brands in this niche of making awesome products that allow you to add additional storage bays to your PC or server. And I really love their products. I've used them in many of my previous server builds for many years. And this is all before they ever reached out to me. So I don't know if they perhaps saw some of my videos where I've mentioned them, but they reached out to me one day and said, hey, we'd love to send you a bunch of products to check out if you like. And so I said, of course, yeah, I'd absolutely love to do that. So they sent me a box full of products, and one of them was this thing here that we're checking out today. This is the MB411SPO-1B. And the reason why I was interested in checking this out is because if you recall from a couple of years ago, I made that series of videos on the R710. And in one of those videos, I mentioned to you guys how you could change the optical drive bay into a bootable SSD drive for your boot drive for your OS. And the adapter that I used back then was kind of a cheap one. It wasn't anything special. And knowing that ICY DOCK usually makes some high quality products, I really wanted to check out what their offering was for that type of use case. All right, so let's get going with this unboxing. Now, before we do that, I want to just mention that there are a couple of different variations of this product. There is a 12.7 millimeter height version of this, which is what I have right now. And this fits up to a 9.5 millimeter thick SSD or hard drive. Now, the confusing part is that there's another version of this device that is 9.5 millimeters thick or height, the height basically, and that fits up to a 7 millimeter thick SSD or hard drive. And so the 9.5 number there is, in both of those, but one is the actual thickness of the adapter itself, and the other one is the thickness of the SSD that the adapter can take. And so just want to make sure that you guys are clear on that. So for the R710, you need to have the 12.7 millimeter thick adapter version, which is what I have here today. So the 9.5 millimeter thick one has a very similar part number. It is the MB411SPO-2B. And there's also another variant of this one with the 12.7 millimeter thick one that has a lock, and that's the MB411SKO-1B. So if you guys want to have a version of this that basically you can lock so that the drive isn't easily removable, there's also that option as well. So all right, let's go ahead and get this opened up. So some documentation here. I don't think there's anything that complicated about this, but we'll see if I need that. All right, so let's take a look at this. Nice plastic wrap, and looks like we have some screws there. So the first thing I can tell you already is that this thing seems a lot heavier than that one that I used a couple years ago in the R710 series, and which is no surprise because ICY DOCK tends to make some high quality products. I suspect there's a lot more metal in this product than the one I used in the R710 series. All right, so before we take a look at the main unit, there are a couple of bags here, and let's see if I can bring this to the camera. So there's some tiny little screws here, and this says, what does it say on it? says device, so I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean, but maybe those are the screws to mount the SSD inside. And then there is this other, here we go. So there's another bag with 4 more screws. These are silver screws, and it says 2.5-inch hard drive. So actually, well, maybe, okay, maybe this is, these are the screws for mounting the drives itself. Then I'm not really sure what these screws are for. These look a little bit smaller. The threads on these are a little bit tinier. So I don't know what those are yet, but anyway, okay. So let's check this guy out. So yeah, definitely this is metal right here, the primary unit. Now on the side here is this part here is plastic, but the primary unit itself appears to be some sort of metal, maybe aluminum, I'm not really sure. And this is the 2.5-inch drive bay here. Now, if you recall from that video, or maybe go back and check that video out if you are interested in the R710, but that was not a hot swappable adapter. Basically, you had to install the SSD inside, and then you had to plug this into the optical drive bay. This actually converts that optical drive bay into a hot pluggable drive bay. So basically, I think, yeah, you can press on this, that opens the drive sled, and then you can pull this out. And so you have to mount the SSD on this drive sled, and then you can install that in here. And so I actually really like this, and I can see why this is, you know, a higher quality product, not just with the materials that they're using, but this mechanism here is really nice and kind of goes along with, you know, the rest of the server that has a bunch of hot pluggable drive bays. And so this way, if you ever did need to swap out your boot drive very quickly, this is a very convenient way without having to actually open up your server to take out this entire adapter. So now on this thing, they have this plastic, this piece here is plastic, and I don't really know exactly what that's for. I suspect you'd have to remove that if you wanted to install the drive. So maybe this is installed in here in order to work with this tray, because without the actual SSD sitting here, you know, when you plug this in, maybe it has to press on something back in the on the inside here. So, all right, so you know what? Let me go get an SSD and check out what it's like to actually put an SSD in this thing. All right, I'm back with a Kingston SATA SSD, and I've got a screwdriver. So let's go ahead and try to install this in this tray here. So like I said, I think I'm gonna have to remove this. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so this then goes on like this. You have to bottom mount this, I think. So yeah, oh, I was like, hey, this isn't lining up. Like, what's going on here? Did they really screw up this product where they didn't make the holes right? But yeah, I have the SATA connector on the wrong side. All right, so let's turn it around, and yeah, so now the holes line up. So I need some screws. Probably can reuse those screws, but let's say they have 4 screws in here. So let's go ahead and open that up. So start with this. And then I'll do this other corner. Now, as I'm doing this, the thought occurred to me that wouldn't it be awesome if they made this trayless? You know, like the HP Z840 where I installed that drive enclosure to add more drives into the 5¼ inch bays, and how that had these driveless, it was a driveless enclosure that where you could just kind of slide the drives in. I think it would be awesome if they made that or made this that way so that you don't actually have to mount a drive tray. But you know, it's just one drive, so I guess it's not really a big deal. But you know, if it was more, then certainly. But either way, I think it would be really cool if they just made more things like this trayless. All right, so let's go ahead and plug this in. Okay, so that's all that's involved. And yeah, you know what? I'm gonna try this out in an R710. I have another R710 sitting in the garage. I'm gonna go bring it out, and let's see how this fits in the R710. And in particular, I don't know if you guys remember this, for those of you who have been around for a while, in the R710 series, when I demonstrate how to convert that optical drive bay to a SSD boot drive, one of the problems I had was that the cheap adapter that I had used at that time didn't allow me to mount that retention clip on the back here. And I don't know if it was just like the threads were off, or I can't remember exactly, but I couldn't mount that retention clip. So even though I could slide this into the server, it wasn't secured, and so I could easily slide back out. It wasn't really a big deal, but you know, it would have been nice if that retention clip would mount correctly. And then, you know, basically it's a little plastic spring clip that latches onto the frame that holds this, and then if you want to release, you have to press down on it and it'll slide back out. So I'm curious to see if this will fit that bracket. You know, actually I don't know what's in that server that I have in the garage, but let me go pull that out and let's see what we can do to let's see if that retention clip fits on this and it actually works. All right, let me go get that server and I'll be right back. All right, so here's the R710 I just pulled from my garage, and there's the optical drive bay. Let's open this guy up and see what we got in here. All right, yeah, so here is that plastic retention clip that I was telling you guys about. So let's remove this. Let's pull this out here. And so normally this drive is secured into this bay because this is holding onto it. And back when I made that R710 series video, this clip just would not work on the tray that I was using back then. So let's see. Wow, okay. Just remember, this is bringing back memories, man. Yeah, this has like Torx screws here. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go find a screwdriver for that. All right, I'll be right back. 1 second. All right, guys, I'm back. So in case you want to know, this is a T6 or Torx 6 screw head. So let's go ahead and take this off. And let's see if it's actually going to fit that bracket, or the ICY dock tray. Okay, so let me put this guy aside here, and excuse me. So this goes like this, so it would fit something like that. All right, so let's see if this works. I think last time what happened, if I recall correctly, is that the threaded holes were recessed or something like that and wouldn't allow me to thread the screws in. This one, so I got that one screw in, so this is looking promising. Yep. All right, so this actually, I'm able to secure that bracket onto the ICY dock tray. So this should fit in, hopefully. Let's see. Yep, there we go. All right, perfect. And this actually now latches into the cage for the bay, the optical bay. And so I would just plug that in, Yeah, that's the cable for data and power, and that's it. So now this gives me a hot swappable 2.5-inch drive bay right here, and I can easily remove it and replace it if I need to. So yeah, that's actually pretty cool. All right, so a couple of things about this that I really like is that, first of all, the quality of this tray, this adapter, is, you know, no comparison to the cheap adapter that I was using. And so it's made out of high quality materials. I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of plastic, but all the essential parts, this tray itself is all metal. And so, and if you guys are not familiar, sometimes some manufacturers use plastic on this stuff, and what happens over time is that plastic gets brittle or something like that, and one day you're pulling the drive out or reinstalling the drive and the plastic breaks on you. So this is definitely not going to happen to this thing, because this is all the lever and the tray, everything's metal here. So you've got high quality materials, and you know, the thing I really like about this is probably like the thing I really like about this over what I had in the R710 videos, is that this is now a hot swappable drive bay instead of having to pull the whole thing out and install or uninstall the SSD. So I really like that feature here. So now, as far as things I don't like about this, well, I already kind of mentioned it, and that is, I wish this, as much as I love that this is a hot swappable bay right now, I wish this was trayless, and I think that would just make it that much better. And the other thing that I think is kind of troubling about this adapter here is that, so let me just take it all out. Oh, I forgot to remove the cable before you do that. Okay, so the thing about this is that it's expensive. So now it's expensive right now at the time I'm making this video. So if you go to Amazon or eBay and you look for this thing, it's about $50 to $60 is the selling price, at least for a brand new one. Maybe you can find it cheaper if you get a source for a used one. But brand new, it's listing for about $50 to $60. I think it's closer to $60 on Amazon. And honestly, that's just a little bit too much in my mind. So, but then I said right now, and that's because, you know, guys, you know what's going on with the economy and everything right now, and inflation going on. So there are a lot of things that are really overpriced. And so, you know, that $50 to $60 price is really kind of the, let's say, the post-pandemic price, and the with the, you know, economic situation that we're in right now. But I looked back at the price history on Amazon, at least through Camel, and this used to be $30. Now at $30, I actually think it's worth it. At $30, I would not hesitate to buy this, because I think it's, yeah, it costs more than the adapter that I was using in the R710 series video, but this is a much higher quality product, and so for $30, I totally think it's worth it, especially the fact that this bracket now actually works on this thing, and you can actually secure this nicely, and the fact that you make this into a hot swappable 2.5-inch drive bay, I think is totally worth the price at, oops, I didn't plug that all the way in, at $30. But at today's pricing, yeah, I'd have to think about that a little bit more. I wouldn't pull the trigger so easily on that. So, but who knows, you know, by the time whoever is watching this video, hopefully maybe prices have come down. I'm kind of seeing a general trend across the board of non-essential stuff pricing coming down. So, you know, maybe by the time you you know, come across this video, check the price, see what it is. You know, I can totally understand if it was still $50 to $60, you probably hesitate. I would hesitate to get this, but at $30, I think it's a very fair price and a good value. All right, guys, that's it for today's product unboxing and review. If you found this video helpful, please give me that thumbs up. And if you like server stuff, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you don't miss my videos. Also, if you'd like to support my channel, go check out my eBay store. I've got the best selection of pre-flash HBAs ready for your ZFS, TrueNAS, and Unraid server builds. Link will be down in the video description below. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.